Hi there, this is Puri or Prince Puri, whichever one you want to call me. Um, so I was inspired by the Sim Supply and Delagrasse for their like when they make speed builds of their games in Sims 3 or Sims 4 and how they do voiceovers for them. And I was watching them like, oh, that's awesome! I want to do that one day. So here we go. Because the American house build would it's just taking too long. Gosh, I don't know why I decided to make a house with 50 bedrooms, but I did. It's actually almost done. Uh when I want to say it'll be done within the next month, but it probably won't. Probably won't. So, as you can see, I'm trying to put down the basic shape for the this house that you see in the screenshots. Because you see, I once, well, it's not, I didn't make it. It was a custom world for Sims 3, and it was also a custom house within that same world. So I think the world was called Pippington. No, it's not. Liberty Bay. It was called Liberty Bay. I think you can find it on, what was that? Parsimonious Sims. Yeah, parsimonioussims.com. Uh, it's a small world, but I didn't like playing in huge worlds anyway. Like even Sunset Valley was just too big for me in Sims 3. So it was really manageable. I liked it, and I think it was originally yellow, but me and my edgy 12-year-old self got my hands on it and was like, you know what this needs? Black. You know what else it needs? Broken walls. And that's how that happened. And I think I was also on a huge cuz well actually I'm still on a huge grunge fest because I really love the aesthetic of just abandoned houses and stuff. So, uh just a lot of that is just it was just me putting a whole bunch of black in it. That's all it was. And then I'd use the grunge custom content from various sites to decorate it. I think there was a few like actual game items in that house, but unlike unlike that house, this house is completely CC free. So, uh, let's see. Well, now that I got the basic shape down, the thing that used to mess me up the most whenever I tried to recreate this build was the stairs. Because I always be looking like the room is a bit shorter than it should be. Turns out, stairs in The Sims 3 were 4 tiles long, while stairs in Sims 4 are 3 tiles long. And when I finally realized that, I was like, okay, what do I do? So I just ended up leaving the wall longer. The same shape. Because, whoops. I don't see a reason why to do anything about it. I'll just get on with it. So I tried to like recreate it to the utmost I could within Sims 4, but The Sims 4 isn't really a grunge game. And I understand that considering that EA or yeah, I think it's EA. The Sims team doesn't really like except for the goth house, which is pretty much the thing I was trying to avoid. Pretty much like the aesthetic I was really trying to avoid. Like I like black, but I don't like it that much, guys. It doesn't look that great in that kind of setting. But uh oh boy, did I just say something wrong? Uh yeah, I just wanted to like try and recreate it, but I also didn't want it to be like so overwhelmingly edgy. I guess that's the word for it. Cuz even though it did look okay, it didn't look right. Cuz like some parts of it just didn't click as well as it was, or it just seemed like I was trying too hard to match this certain aesthetic. And then like when you put it up to all these really nice bright houses in Sims 3, it's like this does not match. But you know what? I think I did a good job with this build because I decided pretty early on that I didn't want to be that kind of like dark. Well, except for the flooring. I did make sure the flooring and the wallpaper were dark-ish, but I didn't want them to be like, because I didn't want to be super dark, because I didn't know whether or not I'd be able to match those colors, since Sims 4 has a more limited palette compared to the creative style in Sims 3. Um, so now I'm just trying to like, yeah, those wallpapers in city living are like the best thing. I am so happy we got those. I'm so happy we have sitting living, if only just because we have these wallpapers. And I also like the kitchen set. I'm kind of sad they didn't go all the way and get like a bathroom set, a bathroom grunge set either. But oh well. You live and you learn. But I am really happy about this because yeah, I ended up changing that because it did not look really good, just like all black. So I ended up making it like shades of grays and blacks and whites, and it actually tied together better. um, I was talking about something else earlier. Oh gosh, I have to give Delagrasse and the Sims Apply props because they managed to somewhat stay on topic, whereas I can't. I just once I get started on something, I just have to jump on something else immediately after. But yeah, I really like this build. I think I like it even more than I like the Sims 3 build, and not just because the file for the Sims 3 build is gone. Yeah, I cannot. I'm sorry, but if you actually did like my 12-year-old edginess, and you actually wanted to download that house, I'm afraid I cannot give it to you, because that was on my old computer, which died, and the only thing I have left are screenshots. But I do really, really, really like this build because rather than being just like edgy and me like trying to stick as many like darkish and gothic stuff in there, it's a bit more like I'm just trying to like a person. It seems more like a person like the actual story I was going for when it came to the other build, because I think the story was about my one of my OCs. Yeah, I actually made a speed paint of him. Danelle, my OC. He well in this well I think I flip flop between his names. Like it's either Savin with the it's either Savin or it's Danelle. I think Danelle was his first name before I changed it to Savin. But either way, either way, the story was he got abandoned by his dad, of course, and his mom died, of course. Good job, 12-year-old me. And he was just everyone in the city hates him. Good job, you 12-year-old Naruto fan me. Gosh. um but yeah, essentially he was just living on his own. He grew up, he made this house a home, and he was trying to make the most of it despite people not liking him and trying not to include him in the town, which was another custom world, Sylvan Springs, one of my favorite Sims 3 worlds. I'll link it on, like I said, I'll link everything like the sites I use for custom content and all that for that Sims 3 house as well as this house. But and so he's just like he's just gathering stuff and like he's trying to make a home even if people don't want him to. He's trying to make his own little place. So he's just like he'll find random stuff and he'll try to add it to his own little collection. Like he got a bunch of books, as you'll see, as I'm putting tying the living room, yeah, the living room together. Uh, yeah, this I when it comes to content comes to clutter, Sims 4 probably has Sims 3 beat. Because I'm basing this what more on do I need custom content for this or do I not? And considering that the house build for Sims 3 was like pretty much 90% custom content, I'm gonna say Sims 4 has it beat. Because all of this is from the game, no custom content. And I don't even know what the heck those were, but you know what? I stuck them in. But uh, there's just there's a lot of stuff that while it may not necessarily be grunge, there's still stuff that people might like take the time to make into their own little home, make into a home, and so I ended up just sticking all this random stuff here. That's probably my favorite room, if only to put extra stuff in there. But yeah, and so, and like I had to change some rooms a little because there's no laundry in The Sims 3 and Sims 4, so that back room ended up becoming more like a second room, second living room with more bookshelves and a magazine case. I imagine he just like has CDs, extra CDs down there, and he just takes them up to his room for a stereo. But yeah, the story itself for Danelle is I was creating on I was trying to like create the world in Sims 3, but then like I said, my computer died and I just never, even though I have Sims 3 again and it works really well on my computer, that doesn't necessarily mean I should go around trying to recreate the game because that required a whole lot of custom content, and there is some custom content in my Sims 3 game, but I think it slows it down a lot. So I try not to download too much, and whatever I do download, it's usually from Around the Sims because Around the Sims it's beautiful. Goodness. Now we're just trying to clutter up a bit in the bedroom. Uh, there's not really much to say when it comes to decorating the bedroom. Like, I know aside from like what I knew I was definitely using, like I knew I used a bunch of apartment stuff. No, not a bunch of apartment, a bunch of the vampire stuff pack for like all their wall scratches and cracks and spider webs. I would know I was using Get to Work for those boxes. I pretended they were shoe boxes, and even if they weren't, you could still fit shoes in them. It works. Turns out there's a fan in this game. I did not know there were fans in this game. And I was looking at it like, okay, I see you, Sims team. I mean, it's perpetually summer in Sims 4 until we get a seasons pack. Watch as three expansion packs down the road we actually do get seasons and I become obsolete. But uh yeah. Uh there's a fan, there's those easels over there. I was so happy to find out that those were actually in the game because those were my favorite parts of the older of the Sims 3 version. Uh and there's just a lot of stuff. Like I kept trying to look for clutter that would be abandoned or grunge worthy, but then along the way, yeah, there's a fan. Along the way, I realized, oh hey, you know what? This place is abandoned, but that doesn't mean the stuff that he finds and he makes will be abandoned because he's gonna like try and clean it up and make it look livable because it's his house. He wants it to be his house. He wants to be comfortable. It doesn't really seem very comfortable if everything's grunged up, right? So yeah, there's not a lot of lighting. I couldn't. There's no broken ceiling fans, so it's not like I could very well just find a broken ceiling fan and just have a whole lot of light. So just those lanterns. Here we got the exterior decorating. Oh, I never really use the terrain paint much because I don't know how to do it. Like yeah, you can use the basic like dirt around the trees and the dirt around the buildings and dirt where you think the Sims would walk the most. Walk the most, sorry. Ugh. But that doesn't necessarily mean it'll look good. I mean, and it's supposed to look abandoned, but unlike The Sims 3, where you could buy like brambles and little grasses and stuff, all you've got is wildflowers. Oh, so now just getting those ivy that are also amazing. I love vampire stuff pack, if only for the items. Gosh, the vampires themselves are awesome too, but I love the items. Beautiful. In just a moment, we'll be jumping into screenshots, and here we go. The Sims 3 version. As you can see, it's all black, black, blackety black. It looks cleaner, to be honest. A bit more cleaner. Here we got the Sims 4 version. Yep, I tested everything. The only thing that I think might cause an issue, is that there is no sink in the kitchen. But that shouldn't be too much of a work bother since there is a sink in the bathroom. Well, thanks for listening to me ramble on for 15-ish minutes. Uh, I hope that maybe I can do this again sometime. Maybe with like hopefully the last video of the America house. Um, yeah. Yeah, that'd be a whole lot of fun. Well, see you guys. Bye.